It's finally the Christmas season. Christmas has always been one of my favorite holidays, and seeing that it has finally arrived, I have decided to look at some of the Christmas episodes of Thomas. In each season of Thomas, there has been at least one episode that is dedicated to Christmas, or at least takes place during the winter. I mean, sure, there's not supposed to be much snow in the United Kingdom, so it's pretty strange how Thomas has snow, but that can just be ignored. Thomas is actually one of those shows that made me understand more about Christmas, giving gifts to each other, making everyone happy, etc. So I have decided to make this video where I discuss Christmas in each season of Thomas and how it evolved from season to season. Coming to Thomas's Christmas party. This episode is the first time we see Christmas being celebrated on Sodor. I sometimes used to watch this episode during Christmas as I used to love it. Now that I see it again, I feel like it was a little rushed. I believe they should have adapted Mrs. Kindly's Christmas before this. I mean, yes, they did mention it in the episode, but this story only works if the readers have previously read the story from the Railway series. Fun fact, this was actually based on a book by the Reverend Wilbert Autry that was specially written for the TV series. Again, why not just adapt Mrs. Kindly's Christmas? I think it would have been a perfect end to the season. If this episode had to be shown, I would have preferred it as a TV special. Leaving that, I do love the fact that Thomas now has matured about his snowplow. I also love the Christmas decorations at Hitman's shed, and how all the engines are wearing Santa hats. You know, I'm actually kinda surprised that Audrey didn't complain about the Santa hats being on funnels. You know, cause they're dangerous. Leaving that aside, this episode was pretty good, even though it felt a little rushed. Coming to season 2, we get Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree. This one, just like the previous episode, was also originally a Railway series book written by Christopher Audrey specially for this episode. And I honestly think this is one of his best stories. This is a very nostalgic episode for me. I used to love this episode a lot as a kid, as seeing so many characters together at one location was just so exciting to me back then. Although I'm still wondering why is Diesel there. To this day, I still like the episode a lot. I loved all the characters being together for Christmas, I loved the hats that they wore, and I love how they decorated the station. The one flaw that I would want to say is that it was too short. I think it should have been at least 8 to 10 minutes long. They could have done more, but still for the time limit of 4.5 minutes, they did pretty good. Now season 3, we have got Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure. Or Thomas and Percy's Mountain Adventure if you are that one weird guy. I love this episode a lot. I love the cinematography and I also love the music. And how the episode starts out happy and then goes on to the doom music when the blizzard comes. And I don't care how better the animation gets, there's no way they can show a blizzard in this way, cause this actually looks like it could be dangerous. I love how Thomas, Percy, Harold and Terence help the others, and yeah, it's pretty good. Now before I begin with the American dub, I just want to say that I don't hate Shining Time Station. I actually kinda like it. So I have a friend who lives in the US, so when he comes to my house one summer, he showed me the US dubs of the episode and explained to me how they use different terms. On this episode, we both argued on which was the correct one. I was confused on why were they celebrating Thanksgiving, and he was confused on why were they celebrating Christmas. If I would be honest, why did they think it would be good to have a British island celebrate Thanksgiving? Also, why is there so much snow in November? Maybe in Russia or Canada there could be so much snow, but definitely not in the UK or even in the US. The inclusion of Christmas decorations makes it even more obvious as to why the rewriting of the episode was pointless. Oh yes, I remember something like that happening, although it was about Christmas. But still, it was pretty similar to what's happening right now. Couldn't they have done it like that? Plus, the audio and visual sync is all over the place. So whenever I say I love this episode, I always refer to the UK version. In season 4, we didn't get anything per se, a Christmas episode, but we did get special funnel. That did have some stunning visuals and was pretty funny too. The same goes for season 5. I mean, sure we got snow, but that episode is pretty forgettable to be honest, except this moment.
By the tunnel and wheeshed loudly. Then it happened. Help! Cried Gordon.
Now season 6. The main Christmas episode here is It's Only Snow. I do like the episode, but it just seems like another Thomas Hates His Snowplow episode. Also, why did they replace his nice blue snowplow with that old rusty looking one? Leaving that aside, you gotta admire Thomas's courage to continue without a snowplow. Also, for once, Thomas is helping the villagers and not just some children. We also did have Jack Frost and Toby had a little lamb. In Jack Frost, the snowy scenery looked fantastic and that's really all I can say. Oh, and James and Percy's interactions were pretty good, I guess. Toby and the lamb was pretty good too. Toby was pretty determined and I liked the snowy scenes. Coming on to season 7, Snow in general is pretty average to be honest. Not bad, but not very good either. Olive is a little out of character for me here. Not so hasty puddings? Damn, is this episode filled with stock footage. It's one of those simple episodes, no major fault story wise, but it's not an episode I would watch all the time if I'm honest. Yeah, season 7 was around the time where all the episodes started to get a little mediocre and there were more moral heavy stories. Now onto the new series, where the episodes become much blander and more unoriginal. They also start using the term winter holidays from here as maybe they thought it would be a more common term? What? Also, who says Merry Winter Holidays or Happy Winter Holidays? There are some pretty bad ones in the new series, like Thomas's frosty friend. Seriously? How much more dumber can Thomas be? It's a freaking balloon! There are some episodes where Hit treats Thomas decently, and some where they just make him an idiot. This is in the latter category. I also don't like Henry's Lucky Day. I just find it pretty odd that this is the same engine from season 1 to 7. Like, really? Lucky Trucks? That's the best idea you've got? There are also some meh ones, like, which are not bad per se, but they're also not very good either. Thomas Emily and the Snowplow, Keeping Up with James, and Thomas and the Toy Shop all fall into this category. Emily becomes bossy again, James starts bullying Edward again, and nothing special happens in the Toy Shop one. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm still saying this. These new series episodes have honestly butchered a lot of the characters' development. Like, Emily was pretty good in season 7. Make her the bossy one. Edward James from being a runaway and literally saved his life. James just starts bullying him. However, within all the bad ones, there are some which I would say aren't half bad. Percy's new whistle and Don't Tell Thomas. Heck, some of them are actually really good. Like Gordon takes charge, James works it out, and James goes too far. As much as the new series had butchered the characters, they did improve certain characters like Gordon and James. And I would even go as far as to say that in some episodes, they do show Thomas in a pretty good way. We do see his season 5 personality in the Don't Tell Thomas episode. Hardworking, but can snap sometimes. For James and Gordon, I do like how in some episodes they actually make them act more mature than the season 1 to season 3 counterparts. For Gordon, I like how they make him as a teacher for Percy and who sometimes can get a little big for his own buffers. For James, I do like how he has become more hardworking and actually takes advice from others instead of just bickering. Yeah, I do really like how they handle his character. You know, as much as I bash the new series, I will admit they did handle many characters pretty decently and some pretty good. So that's the end of my Christmas special for this year. I know you all were expecting the CGI series too, but it would have taken too long and I wouldn't have been able to release it within Christmas. So yeah, but maybe I could do it for next year. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. Merry Christmas!